Hello, welcome to Talk of the Game. It's match preview of West Ham United against Sevilla, the second leg of the last 16 of the Europa League. The Hammers, of course, are 1-0 down currently, but it's all to play for in the tie at the London Stadium. Gonzo, I'm going to ask you again, how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm right up for it. I'm really, and the Villa game was good, really good prep, I feel. And I actually thought the Liverpool game was relatively good prep. It was a little bit doom and gloom before that, I think. But we had a good backs to the wall defensive performance against Liverpool, I think, which gave us some belief. We thought, hold on, maybe we can go to Sevilla and keep it tight. All we wanted was to get to the second leg, which we've done. Arguably unlucky to lose 1-0 in Sevilla, I would suggest. So, I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing for it and buoyed by what we've just seen against Aston Villa. I think the nice thing about that, Geo, is because of the injuries and the different bits and pieces, we've shown that we can do something with different personnel and still get a result. So, yeah, really looking forward to it, as I'm sure you are.
Yeah, I just can't wait. I cannot wait at all. My belief's just going up and up. By the time by kickoff on Thursday, I'm going to be predicting a 5-0 West Ham win. I think
Sure.
it's just what a huge game, what a huge occasion this is. And you still got to pinch yourself. There was something I saw earlier. I've got it written down towards the end of the video. I saw it and I just thought, wow, this just puts everything into context a little bit. Wow. And it's not the progress of West Ham, it's to do with the Europa League. We'll get into it at the end of the video. Bribing you to stick around a little bit. But anyway, Gonzo, we've seen Sevilla in action now for 90 minutes. What's your thoughts on them? What do you think of them last week?
Yeah, they look, obviously have really good technical players. They have some pace in the team as well. And Nesri was interesting to watch because he was, I think, I knew what sort of player he was because I had a look at him, but I think I'd sort of suspected I was still surprised to see him dominate our centre backs in the air. So that's something that we're probably going to have to be mindful of. I think the guy that Declan got booked was possibly their best player on the day. So that was interesting that he's hopefully going to miss this one as well. But then speaking to a few of the boys that down the boats, Dave down the boats was telling me watches a lot of Sevilla, and he was saying their main centre back will be back, and obviously that because they had a midfielder playing at centre half. So if he's back for that, then that's going to make that a little bit tougher for us as well. Munir there, I bet one of the few ones that I mentioned in the build-up. Obviously, he got the goal. Good technical player, lots of good technical players. You'd expect that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they throw a little sneaky one and perhaps play Martial from the start in this one and maybe En-Nesyri off the bench.
Yeah, I think En-Nesyri, well, you said they dominated our centre-backs in there. I don't think he did. I think he just found space. I just think he didn't even, there was no one challenging with him. He wasn't winning 50-50 battles. He was just winning free headers, essentially. I think we're going to have to see a different Sevilla. I don't think we'll see the same tactics and style of players we saw in the first leg, because in the first leg, they were under pressure to go and score and win the game, whereas in the second leg, it's a completely different kettle of fish, which is they can afford to sit back now, say the pressure's on you, West Ham United, what you're going to do. And we might see a slightly different team in terms of the attacking trio that Sevilla put out to be a bit more counter-attacking. The player that you're mentioning, Campos, he is suspended, so he's out. So that's good news. Bad news is Delaney's back from his suspension, and Rakitic featured at the weekend for Sevilla, so he's back as well. Carlos, the other centre-back you're alluding to, may also return. But more good news for West Ham is Acuna, the left-back, who I thought was man of match, to be honest with you, last week. Yeah. He was rested initially at the weekend, so he came on at half-time, then he went off injured. So he may miss out on Thursday. So there's lots of team news from Sevilla to keep up to date with. But there's also lots of team news for West Ham to keep up to date with. And we'll get onto that in a minute, as well as the best place somewhere to keep up to date with it all. But I was quite impressed by Sevilla. I wasn't blown away by them. They were what I expected, I guess. A well-organised team that played good football, but nothing, there was no superstar in their team or anything like that. I mean, I thought their two best players were their left back and their right back. I thought we afforded them far too much room. We can't afford to do that again on Thursday because they were putting cross after cross in. They were accurate crosses. They were good crosses. They were winning the aerial balls coming into the box, and we can't afford them that much time and space again. But it'll be interesting. It's going to be a different test for West Ham compared to last Thursday. I think we can learn a lot from it. But I don't think we can assume they're going to play the exact same team or the exact same way, because I don't think we'll see that. I think we'll see a lot more slower from Sevilla. The goalkeepers are going to take twice as long to take goal kicks, to throw ins. Everything's just going to be slower. However, there's lots of advantages for West Ham. But before we get into that, I want to point in the direction of that app I was talking about. It sponsors this video, the OneFootball app. We know nothing about Sevilla. You probably know limited about Sevilla. The best way to keep up to date with them, though, is on the OneFootball app. Get it downloaded to your phone today. It'll say, excuse me, whom do you support? And when you say West Ham United, on the very bottom right, you can click on there and you see all your favourites. So you see West Ham, you get your aggregated news in there. But you can also go into matches. I'll have the Sevilla fixture there. You click on that, you can click on Sevilla. Then you can see what their news is at their end. Keep up to date with all the latest injury news in regards to the likes of Acuna, Rakitic, Carlos, see what their team's shaping up to be. You can also have a little look at their stats and how their season's going, because they're not too good away from home. They're fantastic at home, but away from home, different kettle of fish. Then, of course, West Ham have got plenty of injury concerns themselves. The likes of Antonio, Creswell, Bowen, Vlasic. What's going on with all of them? The link is in the description, pinned comments of this video. Get downloaded to your device and keep up to date with everything West Ham and Sevilla. Now, Gonzo, as I was saying, in regards to Sevilla's form, no win in 7 away games, but perhaps most promising in the playoff. So they came third in Champions League, then they had to go into playoff with a second place team from the Europa League. They actually faced Zagreb, who we faced, and they lost 1-0 away to Zagreb as well. So is that a little confidence booster for you?
I think so. That's great, but I think there's no better confidence booster than playing them. I think we can look at form, we can look at La Liga, I think they got a draw perhaps at the weekend. Maybe Delaney scored, maybe when I checked, I think possibly I was involved in some way, certainly. So then we can look at that,
you can double check that on the OneFootball app if you want.
You can, the link below. Someone might have mentioned that recently. So I think you can look at that and find little snippets of facts to take some comfort from, but I think there's no bigger comfort than playing against them, because that really means something. So I think when Moyes is doing his team talk, he might be able to say, oh, look, Zagreb did this. You're right. It makes a good point, but it's nothing like the point that Moyes can make and say, look, you've looked into the eyes of the beast there. You know, you've seen these boys. You played them last week. You can beat this lot, and you know you can. Because he can actually, look, there you go. Watch the game back here. Look at all these chances that you numpties were wasting.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something in it. You know, they're not going to have many fans there on Thursday night either. The Spanish fans don't tend to bring large away support for various reasons: ticket prices, transport, distance in Spain as well. So there won't be that many fans. West Ham, earlier on Monday, West Ham released another 500 tickets in the Bobby Moore stand, which were tickets returned by Sevilla, so they certainly haven't sold out their way in, which is no surprise. It's no surprise. I would have been shocked if they brought 3,000 people with them for this one, but their away form it's definitely something there to take encouragement from, as is their defeat in Zagreb. They beat them 3-1 in the home leg, so while they went there with a commanding lead, it's not that commanding. It was only a 2-goal deficit, and they lost to Zagreb, who I thought we looked relatively comfortable against, and that was a rotated team of West Ham, if you like. It wasn't our full strength 11. Now, saying that, we're not going to see a full strength 11 on Thursday night either, but I don't think we're going to see Sevilla's either as well. But any players you admire? This may have changed, of course, since you saw them last week.
Not really. No, I don't mean I've got no players that I admire. Really. No, not really. No, look, they're quite full of wonderful players. Lots of them, and we mentioned them all last week. And you say Rakitic coming back. I mean, there's a player that's steeped in European pedigree. I think played for Barcelona, didn't he? If I remember rightly. So you don't play for them without being excellent, as Adama Traore would demonstrate. Look, you know, they've got some really good players, Joe, but I can't. I'm not that bothered about it anymore. I'm not that the West Ham players are going to be watching this video and be bothered by what I'm saying or anybody else. But I mean, from a personal point of view, maybe they will. But from a personal point of view, I don't care. They're just not. They're not as good as I thought they were, and they're really not. And I'm not saying. No, I'm sorry. I thought when you talk this stuff and you talk this stuff up, and I talked it up, and you look at the facts, this is the best ever team that there's ever been in that competition. The best ever European team in that competition. You know, wow. Okay.
Best
I
ever
looked at it and I thought,
club.
all right, well, club,
Best ever
whatever.
club. It's a bit
Yeah,
different
okay.
though. These players that haven't won all 6
Well, I can tell.
trophies.
I could
Yeah,
tell.
but that's my point. Is you can't expect the current 11 to reflect winning UEFA Cup back in the 90s.
No, but
Unfeasible.
I mean is, you know, they were so talked up as this super team, and they're second in the league at the moment in the Spanish league. So that being said, Barcelona are probably catching them. But I think they're getting fourth. Whatever. There's a massive buffer zone there. But my point is, I wasn't seeing some brilliant, unbeatable team. I thought, yeah, okay, these players were human. As Rakitic doesn't play for Barcelona anymore, probably for a very good reason. That's probably because he's not good enough to play for Barcelona anymore, unlike Adama Traore, of course.
I know what you meant. I'm just trying to wind you up a little bit. I know what you meant. They were impressive, but they weren't unbeatable or striking the fear of life into you kind of thing. The only player I'm sort of fearing the most on Thursday is Martial back in England. And I think, like I said, I think the way the gameplay is going to go will suit counter-attacking football on Sevilla's behalf. And he's somebody that thrives on counter-attacking football. I think we are his second most successful club to score against. I think Southampton might be his favourite opposition, and we are second to them as well. But anyway, enough about Sevilla. Let's talk about West Ham United. Let's deal with team news in a minute. What are you wanting to see? Because I've got some... at the time of recording, it's Monday evening, because I'm not... I'll brag for a second. I'm off to Cheltenham tomorrow. So I said, Gonzo, we need to record this Monday night so I can put it up Tuesday night while I'm at Cheltenham. Did I tell you I was going there? And so the team news, I've got the sort of the injury news, but it may not be correct. So I don't want to go base the preview off the back of it, and then it turns out to be incorrect. So what we're going to do is we'll do the 11s we'd like to see. Then I'm going to tell you what I think the team news is, get your reaction to it, and what you would do, what adjustments you would make off the back of it. Well, let's start with the goalkeeper, because I think this is an interesting one. Obviously, Areola got the gloves for the first leg. Didn't really do anything wrong. However, since then, we've seen an arguably a man of match performance from Lucas Fabianski.
Yeah, I'd still play Areola. I think, you know, let's carry on with that. I do think his distribution is a little bit quicker as well. Not that I think that's going to be a massive issue, because I think we're possibly going to have more possession than we normally would anyway. So, and if as we suspect they're going to sit back, how important is it going to be springing the counter attack? But I'd still play him. I'd still play Areola in there.
I'd put in Fabianski just off the back of the weekend. I'm aware I flip-flop between the two goalkeepers. I'm perfectly aware of that. But I thought that performance on Sunday against Villa was that good. I think he almost has to start a little bit. We can't afford to concede probably on Thursday. If we concede a goal, it's going to be very, very difficult. Certainly to win it within 90 minutes is going to be extremely difficult. So I think I'd fancy Fabianski in the sticks for this one. Your defence, how would you like to see that line up?
I for defence, I've changed my mind a bit, actually. I was going to put Diop in there ahead of Dawson, but I'm not anymore. I'm going to stick with Dawson in there after he's David Beckham passing in the game against Aston Villa. So I'd keep him alongside Zuma. Obviously, you're going to tell me later, I take it, that Cresswell won't be available, but I'm going to assume
okay.
He's okay. Okay. Well, in which case, I don't need to clone Ben Johnson. The old Johnson twins. That wouldn't be bad, would it? Johnson and Johnson. So Johnson at right back and Cresswell at left back. That's my back four.
I'm in an arm between Dawson and Diop, if I'm honest, because Dawson perhaps didn't do anything wrong against Sevilla per se, but it's what I've just spoke about with the counter-attacking football, and I think that's when the most likely style of football Dawson's going to struggle against is when he's got pace running at him and there's spacing behind him. We've saw it in a couple of games in the last 4 or 5 games when teams have been able to get the ball over the back top of his head and running behind. He does struggle with it, but I don't know enough about Sevilla to suggest that that's what they're going to do. But there was a couple of warning signs I felt in the first leg, particularly late on when that ball did come over the top and Ben Johnson had to sort of snuff out on his behalf to some extent. It was a really good piece of covering play from Ben Johnson. I felt like that was almost enough warning to say this is what we are going to do now that we've got the 1-goal lead and you're going to be coming at us. But I agree with Ben Johnson, Kurt Zoom, and Aaron Creswell. I think they picked themselves, really. But I know the majority will say Dawson. But I'd be inclined to put Diop in there just because of the pace and the counter-attacking football I predict we're going to see. Although it's a risk. It's a risk to leave it as Dawson, but it's also a risk to change it to Diop and get what you think Sevilla is going to do is wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We've almost got a second guess how we think Sevilla is going to play this game. I don't know enough about Sevilla. I expect West Ham have done their homework and looked at games where they're winning 1-0 early doors in La Liga. What does the opposition do? Well, they're going to throw the sink at them. Okay, now how does Sevilla react? Do they switch to counter-attacking football? If so, there's your warning sign. Make sure we're prepared for it. Now, moving up to midfield, it sort of starts to pick itself again, doesn't it?
Yeah, the trio, the terrible trio. Have them in, get them all in there. They played so well against Aston Villa. Maybe a little glimmer of Souček back to form there. We might have fancied when we did the player ratings this morning. So, it's got to be those three.
Would you like to see sort of the last couple of games we feel anyway that we've seen Declan Rice in a more restricted defensive midfielder role, particularly at Sevilla away, was a number 4 rather than this box-to-box thing we've seen all season. Would you like to see it remain as that?
Yeah. And look, carry on. This is if it is frustrating, and actually it turns out that what we might need is a long shot or something like that, or someone just to break the lines, as is the modern term. Then he can start marauding forward later on, which is what he has a tendency to do. So don't be surprised to see if we're looking for some long shots because they're camped in their own half. But Declan Rice will provide a couple of those later on in the game. But I would certainly start off, allow Souček his little roaming role, and City to knit it together, and Declan can just sit there. But look, if they're in a situation where we've got 4 at the back, which we probably won't do because the fullbacks would be bombing on a little bit if we've got possession. Even Johnson, if we've got possession, Johnson will be bombing on. So I want to put crosses in there, particularly if Souček's playing up. Then you've got the 2 centre-backs sat there. It may well be that they only have one person up. If they do, you should probably say to 2 centre-backs, Declan can say, look, you 2 cover him. I am going to go a little bit further forward now and try and have a shot or open things up because he's such an intelligent footballer.
Yeah, I agree. I will confess, prior to Sunday's game, I was going to drop Souček for this when I'd like to have seen him left out going by his recent form, and I would have taken in Mark Noble into sort of Declan Rice's defensive midfielder role so that we could use Declan Rice in that box-to-box role alongside Lanzini, and actually, because I feel like while he performs really well as a defensive midfielder, there has been some occasions in the last couple of games where I think we have missed him doing that runs down the middle of the park, and he just gains a space very quickly. We go from outside our box to outside their box within a few seconds. We saw it against Aston Villa. He won the ball, skinned him again, and gave it to Ben Rama. We missed that a little bit when he's got the shackles on. But after Souček's performance against Villa, I've sort of switched back again and thought, actually, no, that performance from Souček was that good. He doesn't deserve to lose it. But also, Mark Noble can't play 120 minutes. He just wouldn't last. If this game went to extra time, you almost need him in the team for A, leadership, composure, and then B, the penalty shootout. If it goes to it, you need Mark Noble in the team for that. So to start him would mean that probably you're not going to have your best penalty taker on the field going into extra time. Is it too ahead of ourselves to look at the penalty shootout? Possibly, but I think when you've got a penalty taker that good, I think you can make sort of special provisions. It's almost like a goal, really. Martin Noble's taking a penalty. It feels like you've scored it, doesn't it? And also, like you said, against Man City, he's first up. Give it to me. I'm going up. I'll take responsibility. And hopefully he scores it. Now, further up the pitch, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. Before the team news stuff, the Jared Bowen thing, it's looking unlikely. It looks unlikely that we're going to see Jared Bowen is very unlikely to make Thursday, which is a bit of a blow. So it sort of picks itself again, really, with Fornals and Ben Rama.
Not so much for me, I've got to say. I wouldn't be doing that. I'd actually drop Fornals for this game. I thought the occasion got to him a little bit, and I would swap it up. I would start with Ben Rama on the left. Get your face. I'm
trying to work out who you say, but we've got no players.
Yeah, and I'd start Antonio on the right, and I'd play Yarmolenko up front. You like it now? I mentioned it.
I can see where you're coming from. But I think I would still start Fornals. I think I appreciate what you're saying, but if the occasion did get to him, the London Stadium's like a comfort blanket for him then, isn't it? It takes away the magnitude of the occasion, perhaps, where, we've just spoken about lack of Sevilla fans. That means there's an extra 500 West Ham fans there. So, we've got a 62. We're up at 62,000 capacity now, aren't we?
I was having this conversation the other day. I wasn't sure, but I possibly, yeah. I don't know, we're at 66 yet.
No, so we're at 62,000, I think.
That's right, because there was a Tottenham fan boasting because they got, I don't know, 4 more seats than us or something. I mean, so we got 6 more thousand under a top.
So we're at 62,000. Let's say Sevilla returned 1,000 tickets. That would mean they've got 2,000. That means we've got 60,000 West Ham fans in the ground. Which is just tremendous. The noise is going to be tremendous. And I just think the occasion part of it, I think it gets removed. I think the nerves will go completely. And I think we need Fornals in there. And like when we were discussing the player ratings after the Villa game, I said to you, I think in order to get the best out of Benrahma, you need to have players in there like Fornals that's going to do the dog work and allow the risk taker to be at the other side of the team. But I get what you're saying. But for me, I'd have Antonio up front for the start of this one. While Yarmolenko did well off the bench and he obviously changed the game, I think what that does, it gives you an option going forward later on in the game if we still need a goal. But I'd still start with Michail Antonio for this one. Now, the team news, or the dreaded team news, as I'm aware at the time of recording on Monday evening, is Creswell's likely to be fine. Vlasic is still due to be out. We don't know. Bowen is unlikely, and Antonio is supposed to be out for a few weeks. Not just missing Thursday. He's supposed to be out for a few weeks. So what would you do then with your team? Is Fornals coming back in?
Welcome back. I'll tell you what. Welcome back, Pablo. I'll tell you what. I thought you did tremendously well in Seville. Oh, mate, 60,000 West Ham fans. I've never doubted you, mate. I've never doubted you. Come here, let me lace your boots up. There you go.
Yeah, 60,000 West Ham fans will look after you.
Oh, they will. They will. Wise words.
But no Antonio, hypothetically, no Antonio. It's a massive occasion for Yarmolenko then, isn't it? I mean, a player that could barely get a look in a couple of months ago is now... We would literally be, to some extent, pinning our hopes of quarter-final football in Europa League on Andre Yarmolenko's shoulders.
Yeah, he's got broad shoulders, my friend, as he's displayed there. He's a quality player, and he's hardly been used this season. Let's be perfectly honest. He can do this. He's an international footballer. He's started Ukraine's second best ever player, isn't he? Second highest ever goal scorer or whatever. So we got to use him, and it's not like he's useless. He is. Got to try and get the best out of him. And you know what, Geo? If they are going to sit back and there is no space in behind, and arguably he might be a better option than Antonio anyway, because his technique's better. If what we're going to be looking for is with a packed defence as a long shot, he ain't a bad one to have in the team. It doesn't even matter. The conversation, I know what we're all thinking the same thing, which is why do we buy a striker? It doesn't matter anymore. We got to go with what we've got. And I'd say it does not dent my confidence at all. I don't think Antonio's been very good for a few months. So can Yarmolenko play better than Antonio's been playing the last few months? Yeah, I think he probably can. Yeah,
I agree. People, long-term viewers of this channel, Matt, know I've always been sort of a fan to some extent of Yarmolenko. I've always thought he's a quality player. I've taken some sticking comments for saying it, and I don't mind. I get it. I get why people don't think he's that good a player or he's a waste of money and stuff like that. It's possible to be both, though. It's possible to be a waste of money and a good player. And I think, would I have liked to start him on Thursday? Well, no. If Antonio's fit, I'd still go with Antonio for this one. But he looked good when he come on. And as I said to you this morning when we recorded that video, I said to you, you get one chance on Thursday night. Who do you want to fall to? Antonio Yarmolenko? Well, your response was, well, not Antonio. He missed the ball against...
He kicked the air. He kicked some fresh air. The ball was there. The ball was there. Then there was some fresh air, and he kicked the fresh air. No goal was scored.
it would be a massive occasion for him. My only concern would be Yarmolenko himself after the game on Sunday said, "I'm not 100%." You know, he basically said, "I'm not." To put words in his own mouth, he basically said, "My mind's not in this. I'm not mentally ready to play football here, but I was called upon. I went out there and did my best." And that's all we can ask for him. It's understandable why his mind's not on the game or on training. He had 3 days training he's had in a month, well, 3 weeks at West Ham. He said 3 days training for, again, understandable reasons. It's not ideal. It's a bad situation to be in here for the club, that because of January, we're asking a guy who has had 3 days training in 3 weeks because of a war in his homeland country. We're basically saying to him, "Mate, our Europa League adventure relies on you here." He shouldn't be playing. He shouldn't be called upon. It should be up to him if he's able to play or not. And fair play to him for coming back and for playing as well, because anyone could understand if he wasn't up for it, if he didn't wish to play. And obviously, I'm not saying the club should have signed players because this was going to happen in UK. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the club should have signed players because we don't have the squad depth. But here we are with Yarmolenko, and something, bloody good luck to him as well. And sometimes opportunities for players come along because of injuries to other people, and this will be Yarmolenko's opportunity.
Yeah, look, I think there is, and you're right, but there is another side to that. And you listen to Yarmolenko's comments. Obviously, he went over to the border to get his wife and his daughter, and he's brought them back to the UK. And you listen to his comments; he's very, very grateful for having somewhere safe to bring them back to. He was very, very complimentary about the club and the country. I mean, he really was. He was very grateful, and so I it's not for me to say what he does, but I suspect he probably doesn't mind. He's probably thinking, okay, well, my immediate family's safe. I'm back here. And I would also suggest the symbolic nature of what he did is actually huge for the message that he wants to send out as a message of whatever, of encouragement, of hope, whatever it is. I'm way out my depth talking about this stuff, but as messaging to send out to people in the Ukraine who he's going to be one of the biggest sporting personalities, along with the Klitschko brothers, Shevchenko. He's up there, Yarmolenko. And for one of their sporting icons to be able to be in the Premier League and doing something like that, and in European competition, and keeping the Ukrainian flag flying high, it probably is very, very important to him. So yeah, I would suspect he would like to be involved. I'm guessing. I'm not him.
Anyway, enough about Andre Yarmolenko for now. Here's the thing I realised earlier, Gonzo, that got me excited. On Friday, it's a draw for the quarterfinal and the semi-final. So
a double.
Yeah, so on Friday we could have a double draw. So we'll find out who we've got in the quarterfinal, but we would also discover which two teams we could face in the semi-final should we then get through the quarterfinal. It's a double draw, so we could be in two draws on Friday morning, just to add more excitement into the tie.
Oh, I might get myself a wall chart. Plot me course. Rangers, Barca, Red Star Belgrade. Well, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it's not the Red Star Belgrade. They're going out. Anyway, are you confident?
Yeah, I am. I am confident. I feel. I do. I feel a bit fruity about it all, to be perfectly honest with you. I do. I think it's good. I think it's all gone in our favour in many respects. They've also had a game midweek, which they hadn't had last time. They're now doing the travelling. We played our last game at home. I'm pretty sure our players didn't have to use the replacement bus service. So they probably, I like it. I like it. I think they needed to batter us in that first one, because I don't think we're going to have a fear factor about them. If there was any trepidation, if there was any, sometimes giving an opponent too much respect, then that might have been it. Now, I am aware that they have a very tactical coach and he gets to have a second look at us. I get it. But our coaching team now know a lot more about Sevilla than they did. It's not, they don't need to send scouts out there. They now know. Now they're going to switch their personnel around. But so are we, out of necessity. Absolutely. Oh, they won't know what's going on when they see Masuaku playing up front. They won't be expecting that one.
Yeah, nor will I. I think, yeah, I'm confident too. I am confident. Maybe strongly optimistic is perhaps the phrase rather than confident itself. But they draw at the weekend. On Sunday was 1-1 away to Real, however you pronounce it, Valencia, who are not particularly great in La Liga.
Real Vallecano.
Thank you very much. The in-game statistics weren't that impressive. I think Sevilla had 3 shots in the whole game. And while I spoke about them only, they haven't won in the 7 away games. They've only lost 2 of those, I think. 5 were low-scoring draws. And it is going to be tough. But as I said, while speaking about Sevilla and bigging them up a bit, I said we're going to face a different Sevilla. They're going to face a different West Ham. They're going to face a West Ham now that has to score. That is going to be taking a bit more risks. That we are not necessarily going to throw a kitchen sink at them initially, but certainly come the second half, if it's 0-0 or 1-1 or whatever, we will start to throw the kitchen sink because we have to. We've got no other option other than to go for it. And we will probably see crosses getting slung in. We'll probably see Souček getting more and more advanced as the game goes on. If we need a goal, I wouldn't be surprised to come the 85th minute and we've still not got a goal. He's practically stood in the opposition box. Was it Leicester? Yeah, it was against Leicester. For the last 5 minutes, Dawson himself took it upon himself to play as a striker. He refused to go back at one point. But that's in the Premier League. This is, you go through, you go out. There's no in between here. We're going to see everything getting thrown at them. And the biggest reason is, and I can't, is the fans. There's 60,000 West Ham fans in Thursday night. That place is going to be a cauldron of noise from before kickoff. I cannot wait for Bubbles for kickoff. That is going to be one of the loudest renditions of the song I will ever hear in my lifetime. People are going to be screaming that words out of their chest to almost urge. It's almost like a warrior call to the players on the pitch to come on, you need to do this. You need to get it in. I still remember that third goal going in against Man United in the last ever game at the Bowl Inn. And I've said it to Gonzo a few times. The way the ball goes in the back of the net for the third one, it doesn't fly in. It's almost like the crowd sucked it into the back of the net. So we're going to feel the energy on Thursday. The players are going to feel the energy on Thursday. Some of them are going to know what's hit them, the West Ham players. They're going to think, crikey, this place is noisier than usual. That stadium is going to be rocking under the lights. And I just cannot wait. And I think that gives us an edge. It has to give us an edge. And, we sat here and we said about how, obviously, we weren't at the game, but it looked relatively good atmosphere for the Sevilla fans. There's some people I do know that I went have said it was a good atmosphere and stuff. Ours will be better on Thursday night. I'm confident of it. I just can't wait. There's no secrets anymore for West Ham in regards to Sevilla. There's no secrets for Sevilla. It should be a bloody good game. The pressure's on us going into this one. It's all on us now. We have to go out there and win the game by at least 1 goal or we are out. Simple as that. But here we go. Can I get any final words from yourself? It's a big occasion. Any final words, as well as your score prediction, please?
Yeah, you ain't ready for my score prediction. I'll tell you that much now.
Well, I am. I've just asked for it.
All right, fair enough. The last words that I will utter are, I cannot wait. I thought it was going to be a long week last week. It went quick. And I think that, it's, as we record this now, it's Monday evening. Geo's off to Cheltenham tomorrow. Did he tell you? It will come along quickly. We're getting down to the boats early. So should you, by the way. There's going to be lots of people there. Although not Mike, old Hammers Chat Mike. He needs a ticket, by the way. Just saying. West Ham 3. Sevilla 1.
Love that. Absolutely love that. I am off to Cheltenham. This week's massive for me. I'm doing 2 bucket list things, really. I was saying I've already seen West Ham play European football now. But on my bucket list, if you like, Cheltenham's one of them. I'm doing that. And West Ham European football is one of them as well. I've done that this season. I'm doing it again. Knockout stage European football. It's a wonderful time to be Geo this week. That's all I'm going to say. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. What an occasion Thursday. It's not just a game, but an occasion. What an occasion Thursdays. But we've got 2 European dreams this season. 2. Last season we were dreaming about a European one. We've got 2 going on. We've got the Europa League and the opportunity to qualify for European football next season. It's tremendous. And I think Thursday night, I'm going to say West Ham 2, Sevilla 1. However, I'm going to say we go through. I don't know if it's on extra time or penalties, but I think it will go beyond the 90 minutes, and I think we will end up the winners of the tie as well. I think we're going to do it. I'm going to say 2-1 West Ham. We're going to go through.
I like it.
Exciting times.
I didn't know your two European things. I thought it might be West Ham going through in this, and then you're looking forward to the Eurovision Song Contest. But
no, it's not that. I'm not into that.
No.
That hoo-ha. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this preview, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Myself and Gonzo. Catch you in a bit.